Okay, so I think I owe some. There's a few people who kind of know a few of the pads that I got set up around here, like, and they some good ones. Firstly, back to the mayor, sheriff. Write that letter to your senator. Go ahead and tell them to ship that to me. I really don't care how complicated that math problem is. I'm gonna hit. And it may not seem like, y'all, well, that's physics, Go ahead. Go ahead, put all your problems on a nice formatted sheet of paper in any form you like. And you go ahead and you get that to me. What? It comes back. I mean, it's like supposed to. And anyway, kind of some of the things that I need from my community support. I want this goal to be this. Hopefully, if on the small scale of what some of them force bars are going to do for local businesses to pull out some of the lensing, dark matter equation, that stuff's cool. It's information. You can pick it right up. What I'm looking for out of this is how to generate the funds beyond tax dollars, because there are a few programs that I would like to be able to integrate it here, and I'd not like to have to deal with too much tax politicking with a bunch of people to do that. So what I need is the companies, or the towns that vote affect, because regardless of whether it's for mayor or something like that, I need a certain mass stand that for the value of the STEM equations and how we're applying it on there, as a mass group, you apply this to be a better working model than any expert can explain the value of that STEM problem, the problem in itself, and the finished form as an applied college, business, universal, mainline field theory for the Common Core. This becoming the NP problem to the NP problem to the military's NP problem. A little bit more forced for the organization of universal field theory is giving gravity standards in this large Epson sphere force or drag rate attractor in the topology of the general's desk on the or in the box, right? Because it's that coffee cup stain is relative to a bunch of other things that at the finest level trickle their way down to the troops on the ground. Wordings have to be toned into what those things do. So, again, as many things as I can do, the best way to engineer a candidate's position is to say no often. Here is one vote that I might share at the one place where I apply it, and everything else is this is where you go find that information. It is my job to know that information via the hub, and here is what that is at this point. It should be the same information given the M1, M2, MN structure of the briefings that I have on the active timeline of what I'm supposed to be. One, focusing is supposed to be the one job on the timeline between 0 and 1 before other actions are taken. And who and how to divide that up amongst the town to find a general net model that you can train the next person after or classifies against the masteral degree thesis, because I should be able to hit anybody and they should be able to bust out a mass gap as filled in as mine. I know it doesn't seem complete, too much information, people start running around with this thing, so I spread it out. This is a piece of paper to me. I can always redo it in multiple different forms under any standard, and a lot of times locally in those stone mills, boy, they hit hard, especially the bosses and new recruits. It has heavy gravities on the ground for equal players and equal bodies to really what that comes down, the element of those states and those places, and how we go about teaching that method, potato clock, out through first, second, third, fourth, sixth, 12th, a college degree, out to the black hole, back to the marshmallow. And keeping that bolo, or what do they call them? You're weaving into the knot there to make a round net. This is string theory by that standard, a rabbit trap. So I need your vote for that. I need you inside the entropy of that side of that box. That's really what I need. And that helps me gain gravitational effects like military. You like this model, it's not a destructive model. It has everything and all the players, Russia, Putin, Trump, anybody. It's political. Boy, it's what did I call it? I used to call it it's kind of like theology, but it's aology. You know, that's that study. You know, Crete and Caesar, you both get out of my sunshine. Honestly, tired of both. That right there. You know, in terms of what that answer kind of turns into and how it all burns down later on with Archimedes and Aristotle and getting stabbed and won't move because they're making circles and stuff. You know, realistically, it happens all the time, certainly with masters via apprentices, but managers as well. There's a lot of stuff that files inside the weight of that neutron, magnetar, pulsar, black hole, solar mass problem. Doesn't matter. And how we consider matter, M1, to how that weight now transitions over. Hopefully, how that weight transitions over, M1 there. It's getting a little glitchy on me. I make sure we get through. So I have a couple of builds. Not only would I like to do that, but that force to do that. Even if they find out that that's empty, a little momentum for me to get me into some of those places. Clay Mathematics, Fermilab, you know, Binghamton up the road, Delhi. I'll take Princeton. I've done Stone for them before. It'd be nothing. Seem familiar. You use it. A lot of kids walk on it. I made it. Didn't make it in the ground, but didn't quite do all the processes. It was a team effort. No IMB here, but to that. See, I'm not dead yet here. Okay, so to that, tell them you want me to help them fill this coffer for mathematics for them. You got your MIT classes at college. That's a fission reactor. Black hole bomb or energy generating system inside of what this is, with the philosophy of 1,000 monkeys smashing their faces off a typewriter for who the bell tolls. You know, you can take me on that board because I'm gonna be slamming you. This is my Facebook model is mainline syllabus. I'm gonna force bar you. Any matrix or combination of those is the given day. I know a lot of you live in factories where the standard pump is the standard pump, and that's nice. You guys get a lot of 2, 3, 4 set huge things, and you know we're gonna have to really consider how this physics is working. What is the general function of what this does now? How it creates entropy. Other states around that, how it's by functioning things. I mean, I bought a cell phone the other day. It was pretty shitty. You know, a horrible time. Can't get it on the internet. The camera's great. It's got a couple of bells and whistles on it, but given the option in the store, I'd rather the store just not put it in there and say, hey, you know, I got physics on this one. It doesn't sell. All kinds of problems with it. I don't need 2 markets in the monopoly on this one. Just if you don't come to the store with $30 for a phone and some stuff, don't buy a Ferrari with credit. Right? That would be physics. That'd be calculus, excuse me. You're gonna miss. Not that there might not be 1, 2 solar mass black hole out there, but it is not you. So that's what I need from you guys, and obviously, if we do that correctly, we should gain military support. Any one of these installations, businesses in our local region, whether it's the country store, the grocery store. Everybody knows the grocery store and the scanners, a quantum operation. Let's take that to another level. Let's take higher orders of laser beams in physics here and everyday operations, how they affect on the calculus of these things, the force MA bars, 40 to 80 to 120, or the 55, or excuse me, 70 and a 55 is a failure to obey a traffic control device, or your 10th time this has happened, you get a speeding ticket. And how that realistically works and how we go about explaining that physics. There needs to be some entropy on that. You have prison systems based on the design of the system that just could not take down a whole entire town like that. You're going to have to compensate something differently out of there. People die. It's going to look horrible on your physics about things until somebody gets back over, or the only other answer is they have to bend or the system is done. We're going to rely on physical situations like that later to dictate your physics as it does, but hopefully locally in a more controlled net where we can say, let's close this off. If the court case as a government can't respond to us sensibly in a court case where we ask for these things to have happen, you meet on our terms. Lots of cases, Revolutionary War, Civil War, any of these will do inside of the physics of this box. As long as we meet some of those original standards that our constitutional beliefs and our left-hand rules represent, and those right-hand rules about bearing arms or freedom to assemble being any freaking different from one another given the element and how it's traveling down there and how it hits the next effect. Our court case is a general standard back to that X, Y, and Z. I can see this kid. I have local resources in there. Form that judge. Do I necessarily need a federal judge that's never met this person? Can't do anything. Probation officers that are triple overbooked, or can I put that stuff in the stone mill and make this happen? That's what I'm hoping to get from this, guys. And later on, if we get some tax breaks for the colleges that are the stone mills and these log factories around here, road crews, bridge crews, that's how we roll. Come send us the training. We're going to keep it somewhere. We're going to try not to get too big. We like this little number, but you can also do this in a school district like New York City, in a very compact region, trying to figure out this Epstein sphere problem, because I know they seem like they're very different from one another, but the fact that we have nothing in a lot of places creates many time functioning problems, space reality, time dilating is what I meant to say before, effects that Tesla and free energy and how to capitalize the mousetrap, the physical mechanical actions, and what we call those walls and sheets on the area of these two lines and points when you get the angles right and you're looking at the rainbow right. Riding the dragon. Catch you on the next one. Love to get the vote. Like I said, anybody can. We can always go back to the old model. Just be a bad monkey and get arrested and try to do it from the warden's office. Catch you on the next one.